News of the Nintendo Switch 2 has been dominating the internet lately, starting with leaks, and now we've had some official reveal from Nintendo, and now we're going to get a special direct coming April 2nd, I believe, from Nintendo, and they're going to actually release some of the specs, maybe price points. Until that time, I'm Svenny McG, and today I'm going to talk about some of the things that I want and need out of the Nintendo Switch 2. Let's check it out. Now, one thing that I want from Nintendo Switch 2 is themes. I've been saying this through the entire duration, the whole life cycle of the original Switch here, is that we need themes. The 3DS had wonderful, colorful backgrounds, very interactive. I've covered a lot on my channel. And then you get to the Nintendo Switch and you go and you actually have background themes, black and white. I think we can do a little bit better than that. Let's get some Legend of Zelda back there. Let's get some Mega Man, Mario, some popular franchises. It'd be great to see. Okay, so one thing I'm going to need out of the Nintendo Switch 2 is a decent price point. Now, Nintendo Wire had broken a story saying that apparently Costco Canada had accidentally dropped a price skew. The price is currently set at $499 Canadian, which would be roughly about $350 US dollars. Again, take that with a grain of salt, but what we still want, again, is going to be an affordable console out the gates. Now, I did see Spawnwave talking about it recently too, saying that with the implementation of tariffs going on everywhere you look, that could be higher costs for US consumers. Now, one thing that I'm going to want with that price point is availability. We've seen this pretty much every time we go around here with a new console. It's impossible to get. Of course, going through the whole 2020 experience, it really was impossible to find a new PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series X or S based upon chip shortages and everything else going on at that time. Then in general, you still have lineups just to try and get to the front door to get yourself a Nintendo Wii or whatever it is at the time. So it'd be great to see Nintendo Switch 2 hit store shelves and be available for those that want to purchase one. Something that we need from the Nintendo Switch 2, thankfully, has been confirmed, and that's backwards compatibility. Most of the library of the games of the Nintendo Switch, they said, should be backwards compatible. Forwards compatible? They'll work on the Nintendo Switch too. That's great news for consumers. It means we're not going to get kind of what we got with the Switch and the Wii U, which is just a constant influx of same game over and over again. In fairness, the Nintendo Wii U did not have a huge market, so it was okay to see a lot of these titles come over, but it's great that we don't have to buy Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for an 18th time. Another thing I'm going to want to see on the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to be backwards compatibility with our controllers. Now, you can already tell based upon the demo we've been presented that the current Joy-Cons will not connect to the Switch 2. That being said, if you need to have an extra 4th, 5th, 8th player for a game, it'd be nice to still utilize the Joy-Cons you already have. Even more so, the Nintendo Switch Pro controller has been regarded as a very great controller, so it'd be nice to still be able to utilize that if you're going to start playing Smash and other games. While this may not be a need of mine, I'm going to say it's an expectation now that based upon what we've seen, first the rumors and now the actual hardware demo, is that snaking little Nintendo Switch controller, Switch 2 controller showing face down with the optical sensor. It looks like it's going to have mouse compatibility. Will that be great for some RPGs and some other games? JRPGs? Sure. Maybe this also means we're going to start seeing some Nintendo Switch Online games come up, such as Mario Paint and other Super Nintendo mouse capable games. Another thing I'm going to want on the Nintendo Switch 2 is folders. It took quite a while for Nintendo to offer some sort of customization of our games on the Nintendo Switch. We finally got it. You can label folders and then you can go and add games to it. I opted to itemize a lot of mine by whether they're digital games or physical games, because then when you're on a trip somewhere and you have your Switch, if you don't have the cartridges with you, I can go to the folder and readily see what else I can play that's downloaded to the console. As far as display outlet goes, I'll be honest, I'm not too concerned about 4K, so it may not, again, be a want of mine, but it is an expectation that the Switch 2 is going to have 4K output on television. I'd like to also think that that's going to mean 1080p while it's in handheld mode, but again, these things have yet to be confirmed. Again, kind of would expect them though. What I'm going to want to see with the Switch 2 is going to be lots of accessories. Now again, basically the leak of the Switch came from a third-party company offering accessories, but it is going to be crazy that all the current things that we have out there for the Nintendo Switches, screen protectors, cases to try and make it hold in place, Joy-Con grips, protective cases to travel around in, third-party things such as the Satisfy controllers. All of these things are not going to be compatible with the Switch 2 anymore. And so therefore, we're going to have to try and buy all sorts of them. I expect we will be bombarded with them as we were with the Switch, but some of them, I love to see them. What we're going to need on that Nintendo Switch 2 is going to be exclusives. Nintendo has basically confirmed they are not going to go the path of Microsoft, and maybe even the same as Sony putting some of their games on PC. Nintendo is expected to create the hardware and put their own games on it. That's a sticky point for a lot of people. Obviously with Microsoft, people see it as just giving up on the console race, whereas others, PC gamers, etc., are waiting to see more games get released. I think it's kind of a weird case with Nintendo specific because you can almost argue, and beat me up in the comments if you disagree, that the Xbox is more or less a home console computer. The PlayStation 5 is a home console computer playing some proprietary games to it, but the Nintendo Switch is always its own thing. Some of those experiences you just can't have unless you're playing on that controller, that console. It's the same reason why you can't port everything from a Wii or a Wii U that uses a tablet as a secondary screen. Some of these experiences, yes, you can simulate them on a computer monitor, but it's not the same if you're not holding the hardware. If you know, you know. For that reason, I expect to see more hardware exclusives utilizing some of the special features going to be found in the Switch 2, and I'm all for it. One thing I'm going to want now with the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to be more Nintendo Switch Online offerings. So we've got all the way up to the Game Boy Advance. Let's start seeing the DS, 3DS. Let's start seeing the GameCube, seeing the Wii. Clearly, with the gyro and the accelerometers, you can certainly be using Switch controllers to be playing some Wii games. So let's see them. See them added to Nintendo Switch Online and start really ramping up that backwards compatible library. One thing we're going to need on that Nintendo Switch 2, maybe should have been the starting point, Hall effect joysticks. Let's not have another snafu, legal battles, a whole bunch of disjointed gamers, including myself, who continually have broken controllers because they don't work, because they got drift. Joysticks need to be replaced. Yes, you can send them to Nintendo. If you have exclusive, you're not guaranteed to get those ones back. You'll just get a replacement back. Let's avoid that whole problem to begin with and go ahead with Hall effect or likewise tech that's not going to cause drift a couple months down the road. One thing I'm going to need from Nintendo with this new one is going to piggyback off a current announcement, which is heartbreaking. Nintendo is axing the gold coin points program for the Switch 2. In fact, prior to it. So you have until March 24th, 2025 to go ahead and earn any gold coin points you may be having. That's through digital purchases. And if you have any physical carts from the last year that you need to go through and click through to redeem, I have a video on this that became one of my most popular videos on this channel on how to earn and redeem gold coin points. You can go check that out. But you have until the end of March to do it and save some money on the eShop. So what I'm going to need out of that is I'm going to need Nintendo to replace it with something, and hopefully replace it with something even better. We had a very excellent Club Nintendo program that got changed into the My Nintendo program, and with the expiration and closure of the gold coin points, we need to have something. Loyalty programs exist everywhere. Yes, you're going to still have your Switch diehards, your Nintendo diehards, but still, we need something else to replace it. Let me know what you expect to see on the Nintendo Switch 2 and what you'd like to see on the Nintendo Switch 2. What is an absolute deal breaker for you, and what do you just have high hopes to see? Appreciate you watching today. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking and subscribing, as it always helps grow my channel. Until I see you guys again soon, please take care. Be good to each other. Bye now.